To have you,
You.
Here in the studio. Let me begin with that extraordinary exchange with Rotimi Amechi. He essentially asked you, what is your experience? You've never governed a state or held executive office. Why should Nigerians trust you to run a country of 200 million people without that experience?
Well, everybody in this country came to do something, and I'm talking about Nigerians, that they believe in. And your experience is derived from what you believe in, what's your passion, what's your goal in life. Mine was to bring about good governance, was to establish democracy. If I didn't fight for democracy, Rotimi Amechi would not be standing there yesterday if we were still under military rule. He would never have been a speaker of the House for 8 years, governor for 8 years, minister for 8 years. That's one of the guys who benefited from my extraordinary struggle for democracy. That's why I said to him after the event, I called him, I said, you should apologize to me. And he asked me to come over to his house to eat.
And drink a beer.
And I said, no, I don't want you to poison me because I know you're not happy. But
I don't think he would do
no,
that.
I mean, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But on a serious note, our experiences are based on what we stand for. Somebody cannot say that you're inexperienced in life because you're an amazing broadcaster.
Yeah, but it's not about, thank you for the compliment, but it's not about life, though, or just things. I mean, it's about a particular, you can't bring someone who is not a journalist or a broadcaster and sit them down there and say, well, you've got experience in life, go and broadcast on Arise News. I mean, it's not going to work.
You're talking to the guy who started a broadcast
journalist. No, I'm not talking about you.
But I haven't been to
I'm not talking
journalism
about,
school.
Yeah, but
but leadership is not.
They're two different things, aren't they?
You know, leadership is not about that. Leadership is about passion, it's about mission, it's vision. And when people are looking for leaders, they're not looking for an accountant alone. They're looking for someone who understands a little bit of everything and who can find everybody who can make things work. That's what leadership is all about.
I actually agree with you that to a large extent, because actually most people who become leaders have never actually been in that position until they get in.
Exactly.
You see what I mean?
That is why I'm saying that they owe me a lot for creating the avenue for them to become leaders. Even though they didn't fight for what made them become leaders, I did, and that's where my experience came from. And that is leadership.
Well, you certainly paid your dues for this country, no question about that.
And that's leadership in its own way, to be courageous, to have conviction, and to fight for it in such a way that it benefits everybody.
Right. And to stand for justice and truth. And but I mean,
and progress and prosperity.
Indeed, but Nigerians will also say to you that they like to see some kind of clear vision, if not the governance experience, but a very clear vision about how you intend to take the country forward. I mean, if you don't have that vision, they're going to want to judge you based on what you've managed and what you've delivered.
As a matter of fact, most of the ideas you're saying that they're picking now, we started fighting for it. We have clearly articulated them. We told them removal of subsidy will ruin the economy. They claim that they have economists, they have advice from the World Bank. We told them, because we know what the outcome will be, because we are knowledgeable about it, we articulated it, we put it on paper, we spoke about it. And between me and them, we failed. They implemented removal of subsidy, the economy tanked, the people are suffering. And then the people who claim their experience are now towing my own path. Although by this evening, Atiku has flip-flopped again. That he didn't say that. He never sent somebody to say that he was going to, but he said it would temporary.
Yeah, but the criticism a lot of people have about you is that you're very good at criticizing people. What was your plan for subsidy?
Our plan for subsidy is that it will not be removed. Because everybody who spoke against subsidies since I was in the university had one excuse or the other. There was a time they said it's the border. I'm not the one who is in charge of protecting our borders. If the border is porous, you can't punish the populace for it. Then later, everybody agreed that there's nothing wrong with subsidy because there's no country in the world that doesn't subsidize some people. It's vulnerable and poor people. That it was corruption. So how do you blame the person who benefits just 50 cents a week from subsidy of petroleum products? By the way, only one product is actually now subsidized. That's gasoline, petrol. Kerosene is not subsidized. What did they do with it? So it's corruption. And the person who can sustain subsidy and support for the poor and who can at the same fight corruption is the person you could go with, not the person who was part of those looting the subsidy funds before, who had benefited from sabotaging the masses, who now claims that it's the masses that has to be blamed. And when you did it, I'm here talking to you about it, when they did it some 3 years ago, we told them it would not work. Who between me and them is not only experienced in understanding the pains of the public, but clairvoyant about what will happen about the future, which is clear leadership. And we have put this on paper. I have manifestos that, by the way, I have developed an application. The only presidential candidate with an app is called sowore now. And you can go there, sign up. And all of this is explained. A, B, C, D, where we'll get the money from to sustain subsidy and how subsidy will work. And
well, tell us about that. Because,
Yes.
I mean, one clear question
Yes.
is that you talk about fighting corruption. People would agree with you
Yes.
that the subsidy program was very corrupt. But they're going to say to you that if you're going to keep it, and you're finding the money to keep funding it, whilst at the same time you're attempting to fight the corruption. You've got to balance the two. Where do you find the money to maintain the subsidy
it's not
whilst
about
you're fighting
maintaining
the
subsidy
corruption?
alone. You have 4 refineries in Nigeria.
None of which are working.
I'm not the one who didn't make them work. I can make them work. When they were supposed to work, guys took the money. They are still going to EFCC on a daily basis under the Buhari regime. Stole all the money, billions of dollars. So I will make it work, because if you are refining locally, even if you are saving 10 naira per gallon, that is a huge amount of money, considering that you are consuming over 60 million gallons of, liters of fuel on a daily basis. If you save 10 naira because you are refining locally and you're employing people to do that, because the importation we are doing of fuel is from countries that are refining locally. We have refineries built by Nigeria in Abidjan that we are importing from. I think there's somewhere in Niger where we are refining, we're importing from. Why can't we make our own refineries work?
Yeah, but what I want to ask you, I don't mean to interrupt you,
yes.
and I apologize, but what I want to ask you is, if you say that you're going to keep subsidy
Yes.
whilst fighting corruption,
Yes.
the
And
fundamental
developing local
question,
refining
the fundamental
capacity.
question is, where are you going to get the money from? And if your argument is that subsidy as it stands is fundamentally wrong because it benefits the elite and those who are stealing from it,
yes.
what is your alternative mechanism for protecting poor Nigerians from the continuing shock of fuel and transportation costs whilst you're fighting
I'm
that?
restoring subsidy. I made that clear. We are restoring it because in 2023, in 2023 budget, there was provision for subsidy. 2022, there was provision for subsidy. And this country was able to maintain a liter of petrol at 400 naira. The day you remove it, it went from 400 naira to 1,400 and something. In some places, 1,600. Everybody took a hit.
Yeah,
the economy took
that
a hit.
is true.
That's so
Nobody
I
can
am
deny
restoring that. But what will be missing in the restoration is that nobody will have a chance to import fuel that did not arrive here. I was one of the major journalists in my own time as our reporters who uncovered the first major scandal around subsidy thieves that we used to call them. We found out during that period that there was a ship that had capsized some 10 years before that was recorded as bringing in fuel. I'm talking about petrol to Nigeria. All of that will no longer exist under our government. We will make sure that every dime that is spent on subsidy is not stolen. It gets to the people. So you remove the cabal, subsidy is in order. You keep them in place, subsidy is out of order. And let me tell you, they have just changed the name of subsidy. They are still subsidizing their cabal. Now, it's just that there's a change of name. So there's money assigned from the NNPC to still bring in imported fuel and helping our man here who built a refinery that we assisted him in building, subsidized him. That's why I'm telling you there's a rich that benefits from subsidy. You help Dangote build a refinery. He'll tell you nobody helped him. But yes, Nigeria helped him because there was a time all of our forex goes to this is refinery project. And you can't fix your own. I'm saying it is possible for Nigeria to fix its 4 refineries, even build smaller ones or license several other people who want to have smaller modular refineries. Refine these products, make them available. Niger Delta militants are refining crude. They are selling diesel. They are selling kerosene. Why can't the Nigerian state refine crude and make it available to Nigerian citizens and stop complaining? That is the difference between me and these individuals.
Right.
I'm not going to perpetually be importing refined products.
Well, let's talk about those individuals who are the political class,
Yes.
as you refer to them, including Atiku, Tinubu, Obi, Amechi, and all the rest of them. If you believe that virtually everyone who has governed Nigeria has failed, who, if anyone, do you think has actually got something right in this country?
None. If anybody got anything right in this country, we would not be sitting here discussing probably now this issue. And I'm not just saying it for political sake. I pointed to all of these guys sitting next to me. They are flaws, they are failures. I pointed to Amechi, his monorail that has now become a museum of incompetence. and failure in Port Harcourt is still there. And I was telling him, look, sir, if you are completed in monorail, maybe you'll be moving about 5,000 people daily in Port Harcourt.
So what would
This in wonder shall never yes. Yes, not don't listen to sowore. You understand? So the outcome of this issue. Now also the whole MBA conference, you understand? So different aspirants from different parties, you understand? So they call it talk with the one doing they become president, you understand? So during that process now, now sowore and Amechi now they jam each other, you understand? Now Amechi begin to say, let me tell sowore say what experience do sowore have, you understand? You understand? Yeah. For me, if I want to say something, you understand? Before Amechi became one of the governor, I understand. You understand? So Oshowore were fighting for democracy. You understand? Now Oshowore now the person we fought for democracy. Eh? Okay, before he became governor, which experience he get? May he tell us. Before he started accepting position, which experience did he have? You understand? You understand? So Oshowore has been fighting for this country. You understand? Long time ago. You understand? If you compare between them, if you compare Oshowore and Amechi, now Oshowore now get experience pass. Yeah, let them be sincere. Let them be sincere. Now Oshowore now get experience pass. Understand? Not be say we are Nigeria, we don't know. We know. Now Oshowore now get experience pass. Here we begin to talk. Well, I know my thought motion, so make sure do not talk about the conversation. I'm first one for the home updates. Oh, for sugar boy.